y'all want to watch it as adults, that's fine. Go right ahead. We're going to be reading Good Night Gorilla by Peggy Rathman. Good Night Gorilla, Peggy Rathman. Looks like a smart animal and a not so smart cop. But we'll see. We'll see. Rathman. And it's got the little gorilla running amok. Oh no, he's a zoo attendant. He's at the zoo. And he's checking on, and he says, "Good night, gorilla." But the gorilla, he's grabbing his keys. The gorilla's in the zoo, and he says, "Good night, gorilla." The gorilla's grabbing his keys. Look at that, he's grabbing his keys. Oh my goodness, that's a mischievous gorilla. Oh no, the gorilla, he let himself out of his cage. Look. He opened his cage door with the keys he took from the night watchman, and now he's following the policeman, the night watchman that watches the zoo. Oh, what's he gonna do? The zoo watchman passes the elephant, and he says, "Good night, elephant." And the gorilla's like, what can I do? Oh my goodness. Now we've got the elephant and the gorilla following the night watchman. And the night watchman passes the lion. And he says, "Good night, lion." Oh no, but the monkey is going to open the lion's cage too. Oh no. This little gorilla is just a mischievous little guy, isn't he? So the gorilla has let himself go, the elephant out of the cage, and now the lion out of the cage. And the zoo night watchman doesn't know. He's just saying goodnight to all the animals. Oh no. And then he says, "Good night, hyena. Good night, giraffe." And oh no, look. The little gorilla has let the giraffe, the hyena, the elephant, the tiger, everything loose. Oh no. I'm reading from my twins, my twin grandbabies. And then the zoo night watchman says, "Good night, armadillo." And the armadillo is down here in his little enclosure, and all the other animals are just following the zoo night watchman. They're all loose because the gorilla stole the keys and let them loose. And he says, "Good night, armadillo." I didn't know they had armadillos in zoos, do they? That's neat. That's neat. Oh no. And the night zoo watchman goes home. And look, all the animals followed him home. Oh my goodness. That's very sweet. They just wanted to go home. They went in his house. The giraffe, the lion, the hyena, the armadillo, they all went in his house. I think there's even a mouse. In there. They followed the zoo night watchman, and they went home with him because he told them all good night, and the gorilla let them out, and they followed him home. And he hasn't noticed, but look, his wife's fast asleep because he probably works really late to close the zoo. Look, the gorilla, the tiger, the elephant, we've got a giraffe in here. They're all just going to sleep in the room. Maybe they like the night watchman and they want to go home with the night watchman and they feel safe. And so the wife gets rustled because she feels something move in the bed, and it's the gorilla and the hyena, and she goes, "Good night, dear." But it's all the animals. It's not the zoo night watchman, it's all the animals. And then all of a sudden she hears, "Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night." Well, when you expect one and you hear a whole bunch, that would be kind of scary. And she looks. What were all those good nights? Where did they come from? And so she turns on the light And she sees that not only is her husband in the bed, but the gorilla is too. And all the animals are in her house. They followed her husband, the zoo night watchman, home from the zoo. She's a little scared. But she takes the gorilla by the hands and she takes a flashlight and she leads all the animals out of her house. Where do you think they're going? I bet you they're going to the zoo again. She takes all of them back to the zoo, and then she turns away from the zoo, thinking that no one else is behind her. And she says, "Good night, zoo," but look who is still following her, the little gorilla. The little gorilla, he knows how to get out of anything, I believe. So then she gets back in bed. Her husband's fast asleep now. She thinks she's taking care of the problem. She says, "Good night, dear." And he says, "Good night." But look at the little gorilla. He's crawling up in the bed. But at least they have a mostly empty bedroom now. All the animals are back in the zoo. And you see the keys? The keys are on the floor. The keys are on the floor. He should keep better track of his keys. And then as they lay in bed, the wife, the zoo night watchman, the gorilla, and the mouse. The mouse says, "Good night, gorilla." And the gorilla says, "Snore." Oh, so the gorilla got to spend the night at the zoo night watchman's house. He's really good at taking the keys, as you can see. And here he is, happy the next morning, eating his banana with his mouse friend, and he's going back to the zoo. And I think he might have learned his lesson to not let any of the animals out again. But sometimes it's okay to go and visit a friend, but not take 15 with you. That was a very cute book. Good Night Gorilla by Peggy Rathman. That was cute. So when you go to the zoo, don't let the animals follow you home. Hope you like the book. Have a good night. Bye.